Good Friday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on this KARE 11 News Now episode. I'm Chris Haramsky. Time to burn off that turkey, everybody. Shop till you drop time. It is the biggest shopping day of the year. Black Friday expected to set a new record with more than 130 million people shopping today alone, according to the National Retail Federation. Over at the Mall of America, more than 14,000 people filled the shops first thing in the morning, the first hour of opening. With some of the shoppers waiting in line since Wednesday night. This year, Mall of America is celebrating the day with special deals and entry prizes, including a $5,000 gift prize for one customer. Our Audrey Russo was there this morning and talked to the lucky winner.
I thought that everybody had it, and then, and then all of a sudden they said I won, and I was like, wow, it was like a big shock to me.
National Retail Federation says this could be a record-breaking holiday season for spending as well, expected to top $1 trillion for the first time. The agency estimated that the average person will spend nearly $900, and still they say tariffs could trim what ends up under the tree, adding about $130 to the average American's holiday bill. Now to some of the big headlines we're following. This is new video out of D.C. overnight of the processional for National Guard member Sarah Beckstrom. The 20-year-old was shot in an ambush earlier this week and passed away yesterday. Her fellow National Guard members, as well as federal and local agencies, led her body through the streets of the Capitol to the medical examiner's office. A second National Guardsman, 24-year-old Andrew Wolf, is still fighting for his life today. Officials say both of the victims were sworn in just 24 hours before that shooting. The suspect, an Afghan national, was shot by another guardsman at the scene and is also in the hospital under guard. Authorities say he is now facing first-degree murder charge. Overnight, President Trump posted to Truth Social saying he'll, quote, permanently pause migration from all, quote, third world countries, end quote, to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. It comes after his administration said it's now suspending all immigration applications from Afghan nationals and vowed to re-examine all Afghan refugees who arrived here during the Biden administration. Danny Spiewak has a closer look at the response coming from Afghan families here in Minnesota.
After U.S. troops left Afghanistan in 2021 and the Taliban swept back into power, the Biden administration launched Operation Allies Welcome.
We must all work together to resettle thousands of Afghans.
That program brought 76,000 Afghan refugees to the U.S., many of whom had assisted American forces during the war and risked facing retribution from the Taliban. In Minnesota, the Department of Human Services led efforts to resettle more than 1,300 Afghan refugees.
All of these Afghans fear for their life and for the lives of their families.
Mustafa Babak with the Afghan American Foundation called Operation Allies Welcome a lifeline.
Many actually got hunted down as they were waiting to be evacuated from Afghanistan.
But now the program is under more scrutiny following the shooting of two National Guard members near the White House, which police say was carried out by Ramanullah Lakhanwala,
who entered the United States under Biden's Operation Allies Welcome.
According to CNN and NBC, the suspect arrived in the U.S. through that program in September 2021, but later applied for asylum and was granted that status by the Trump administration this year.
We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden.
The Afghan American Foundation strongly condemned the shooter and called the situation heartbreaking.
But I also urge Americans to not give in to fear. I also urge Americans not to give in to division. One individual's act should not be stigmatizing the entire community.
Danny Spiewak reporting there. The Biden administration said Afghan refugees who came to the U.S. under Operation Allies Welcome went through a lengthy screening process that included vetting from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the National Counterterrorism Center. Right now, police in St. Paul are searching for a hit-and-run driver. They say rear-ended a vehicle with 4 people inside, then took off. This was the scene on I-35E and Maryland Avenue shortly after 6 o'clock last night. We're told, thankfully, though, no one was hurt. This afternoon, a driver's in jail after driving the wrong way and crashing on Thursday afternoon in White Bear Lake Township. This happened just before 5 p.m. in the area of County Road J and I-35E. Authorities say a 50-year-old woman was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence and booked into Ramsey County Jail. Work will pick back up this morning on a water main break in Coon Rapids. One of two spots were fixed yesterday, but city leaders say crews will be out west of Hanson Boulevard today. At least one business went without water yesterday morning because of that main break. If you're driving in that area, officials say there's going to be detours for traffic trying to go west on 121st Avenue. Take a look at this. Firefighters battling heavy flames after fire engulfed a church on Chicago's south side on Thanksgiving afternoon. Bystanders caught the moment that the church collapsed. Authorities say luckily no one was inside at the time.
What happened is very heartbreaking, very sad to see, but I'm just grateful no one was hurt.
Fire damage left more than 200 people without power for hours on Thursday. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. New today, and have you seen this video? Officials announcing that the fire at a Hong Kong apartment complex has been extinguished. The whole building was ablaze. The fire claimed at least 128 lives, with many people still unaccounted for. More than 2,000 firefighters and first responders have been involved in the operation to extinguish that fire and search for the survivors there. The fire first erupted on Wednesday. Authorities believe that it started in bamboo scaffolding and construction netting that quickly spread across 7 of the complex's 8 buildings. NBC's Janice Mackey-Fryer reports.
This horrific fire in Hong Kong burned out of control and rapidly. Videos showing the 7 high-rise buildings engulfed by flames. Officials said the death toll rose today as rescue teams are now searching for up to 200 people still missing. For 2 days, firefighters have been working around the clock to control the massive blaze. Videos showed the flames spreading up 32 stories, then leaping from one building to the next with no warning. The 8 towers were home to nearly 5,000 residents, many of them now at temporary shelters, clinging to pets and the few belongings they could take. Investigators are piecing together how the blaze could have spread so quickly, homing in on polystyrene boards used during a renovation as likely fueling it. The intense heat causing construction netting and bamboo scaffolding to also burn. 3 men from a construction company have been arrested. Hong Kong security chief saying today they can't rule out the possibility that more bodies will be found. Officials haven't yet determined what started the blaze, but they say those foam boards which were put over the windows during the renovation may have helped accelerate the flames. This disaster has stunned people across Hong Kong as donations are now pouring in from around the world for the families who've lost everything. Janice Mackey-Fryer, NBC News, Okinawa, Japan.
Take a look at this. One Bloomington woman made sure that those without a home had a Thanksgiving meal yesterday. Tynika Smith made 125 meals for people who are homeless. She prepped some of the food earlier this week, woke up at 5:30 yesterday morning to start cooking. She made 6 turkeys, 5 hams, corn, mashed potatoes, so many other Thanksgiving sides, all by herself. Smith said it's important to her because she wants everyone to feel loved on Thanksgiving.
I just want them to feel involved and to know they're cared for, regardless of what they're going through or, despite what people think, they're still human.
This is Smith's 6th year doing this, cooking and handing out food all by herself. She also bought blankets, dozens of them, coats, and other winter essentials to help keep the homeless warm. The past couple of months, food insecurity reached a new point of new level because a government shutdown combined with political arguments over who should get SNAP benefits put those very benefits in limbo. And rather than fight out over whose fault it was, the community of St. Cloud acted fast to make sure that anyone in need got what they needed. Here's Janice Shortle.
The leader of the St. Cloud Area Schools District isn't ignorant to unfortunate realities.
This district always has some struggles with students bringing barriers, right, of no fault to their own.
In St. Cloud's district, 70% of its students, as identified by state and federal guidelines, are food insecure, which means a majority of them were placed directly in harm's way when SNAP benefits became caught up in America's biggest federal shutdown in American history.
I had teachers that came to me and said, "What can we do? Because we're seeing this affect our students."
Those teachers, looking back tonight, are likely saying, What can't we do?
It certainly came together quickly this time.
Surprised how fast we got it done, but not surprised that we got it done.
It took all of 1 week after the leaders asked the St. Cloud community for help for it to show up big time. One ask resulted in a partnership with Catholic Charities and enough donations to start twice weekly food box pickups at school. One ask also brought enough generosity to get a food pantry inside every single school, elementary and upper.
When we're out there in, standing in a food distribution line, we don't look to see how someone votes or what they're doing. And the people that are volunteering are not, that's the least of their thoughts. This is about our kids and making sure that they get what they need.
St. Cloud is more than willing to bet on and support its community. The folks who live there know it and wanted to let those who don't know it too.
People, I think, misunderstand St. Cloud sometimes. This is a community that takes care of its children, takes care of its people, and does so with happy hearts.
Jana Shortle, KARE 11 News.
Stick with us. We got more news and weather coming up after the break.